The Supreme Court just recently overturned Roe versus Wade. What a lot of people think is that this is to ban abortions. And meanwhile, this is definitely not to ban abortions. This is to put the power of making abortion laws back into the state. So obviously it's going to be like Texas does its own thing, New Mexico is going to do its own thing, Arizona is going to do its own thing, California is going to do its own thing. It's going to be something along the lines of that. Now, obviously we have terrorist organizations in the United States. A more known one is called Jane's Revenge, and they have firebombed pregnancy clinics, which, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But nonetheless, these groups are causing violence and terror in the United States. And they were doing this before the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Now, currently, right now, at the time of making this, it is 11:21 in the morning, Friday, the 24th of June, on Friday at 11:21 a.m. Pacific time. So right now I'm in Ontario, California right now. And my recommendations for anyone listening to this or watching this, please stay away from cities. I cannot stress that enough. Stay away from cities right now, because these cities are going to be hellholes. Or I'm not guaranteeing that the cities are going to be hellholes, but historically, stay away from the cities, because historically speaking, cities are more than likely going to be hellholes tonight, over the weekend, possibly into next week. For the Supreme Court to come out on a Friday and declare this on a Friday is insane. I'm not disagreeing with their overturning. I'm actually for it. And I'm sure a lot of y'all are for it as well. I mean, I'm not saying ban abortions outright, but that's not what they're doing. They're putting the power back into the states. So, this is definitely not about banning abortions. It's about putting the power back into the states the way it should be. Now, what I'm expecting is to hear news about riots, potential attacks, things of that nature. And like I said, right now I'm in Ontario, California, which is the LA area. I have a buddy who is currently in Long Beach, California. He's going to be driving to Los Angeles. That's today, though. Right now. Tonight, I will not be anywhere near Ontario. For my buddy, I don't know. He might be in Ontario, so I will say a prayer for him. But what I expect tonight is violence. Just looking at things the way they use that looking at how events have folded out in the past, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting violence. I am going to get as far away from Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area, as far as I can. I am going to try to make it literally as far as I can today, and not be anywhere near Los Angeles. I have another 4.5 hours to drive, so I can probably get a good 100 miles away, or 200 miles away from this city. And if you are in a city Right now, I will say a prayer for y'all, especially if it's a liberal city. Now, if you're in a city in Texas, like DFW, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, El Paso, things might be kind of dangerous. If you're in a predominantly conservative city, it's not going to exclude you from the potential of violence, because these terrorists can definitely possibly be targeting conservative areas, because that's what they're against. They're against the conservative mindset. They're against the whole anti-abortion. These people are pro-abortion, so they're going to be possibly potentially attacking conservative states. So if you live in like Phoenix, there's potential. Even Yuma, there's possibly a potential. In the closest town to where I live, there is potential. That's not even a big city. I remember when Roe v. Wade was becoming more of a popular topic, that when I drove into town, the bigger town, not the village that I live in, because what I live in, I technically live in a village. I don't even live in it. I live outside of it. But the closest city limits to me, there was legal protests for Roe v. Wade on the streets, and that's not a big city. So bigger cities, bigger conservative cities, I will say a prayer for y'all. I don't know how things are going to be. I hope I pray for the best case scenario. So should y'all, but y'all should also be expecting the worst case. So if you live in a city, especially a conservative one, I will say a prayer for y'all.